Oh, Vic, she's trying to show you something.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network. I am Ace. I am joined tonight by none other than, man, I hate the Bears quarterbacks, Will Polston.
Yeah, they do suck. I'm not going to lie. They're not great.
I'm not going to lie.
I can't lie there.
And I'm also joined by none other than Justin Herbert is undoubtedly the Rookie of the Year, the Vic. How's it going?
It is fantastic.
And you are watching Sportsminute. All right.
To be fair, you could have introduced me the same way that Justin Herbert is undoubtedly the Rookie of the Year. Will Polston
Well, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that though because she's a Duck fan. You're the Bears fan, so I had to go with that.
You're a Bears fan?
Well, in football, NFL, not college.
I'm sorry.
Not California Bears. I'm not any of that.
All right. So before we get started on tonight's show, I will say that we got to do a little bit of housekeeping first, our typical housekeeping that we always do. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our sponsors done. So our first sponsor of the night is going to actually be Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. And then the Vic, you go ahead and take this away. This is all you.
PaparazziAccessories.com/160920. Great stuff. Everything's $5. Lead and nickel free. 24-hour shopping online. Super fast shipping. You order it's like there 5 days later. FedEx drops a package off on your porch. It's too late for Christmas because Christmas is in like 2 days. So anybody that forgot, you best get out there and get something else. But birthdays, New Year's, Valentine's Day. Come on. She's awesome.
It's coming. Yep, it's coming. All right, so our next sponsor tonight is actually going to be none other than Misty Meadows. Now, the cool thing about Misty Meadows that a lot of people probably don't understand what Misty Meadows actually does is they make barbecue sauce, they make jam, pretty much anything, any type of sauce they make. I mean, any type. So, Brandon, are you a barbecue sauce guy? Or sorry, Will, are you a barbecue sauce guy?
Well, I'd like to speak on behalf of both Brandon and I. I think we're both barbecue sauce guys. I can't see either one of us denying a barbecue sandwich.
Right, a barbecue pulled pork sandwich.
More of a pulled chicken.
Man. All right, so for anybody who wants to know, Misty Meadows is actually located in Bandon, Oregon, and that address is 48053 US 101 Bandon, Oregon 97411, and the phone number on that is 541-347-2575.
Also, they got a website, OregonJam.com.
Yes, they do.
You can order online and have it shipped to you wherever you're at.
I will say, Merry Christmas, Madison. I see you're leaving a nice little comment on the side talking about Christmas and Christmas Eve. Welcome, and I hope you're going to enjoy another great episode. So tonight we actually have some great topics, but before I completely forgot, before we do that, we have our shirts to talk about. So our shirts. So Will, how can you win one of those awesome ASAP Network t-shirts?
Well, you can do exactly what Madison's doing. I also see Brandon Herrera in the comments, a couple other people. You can be down there in the comments section yourself. Send us some comments on our videos. Also, make sure to like the video, comment, share, like the page, follow the page, everything you can do to interact with us and help build our brand. We're going to tally it up at the end of the month, and whoever has done it the most at the end of the month will win their very own ASAP Network t-shirt.
All right, Will. So tell me, if somebody cannot come on and comment, but somebody still wants one of those T-shirts, how can they get one of those T-shirts?
Well, I mean, it's just as easy as sending us a message. You know, you're down there in the comment section. Maybe you're not. Well, now go ahead and send us a message separately. Go ahead, message any one of us. Go ahead, message anybody from the network. And don't even look at that sign, $25 plus shipping and handling. What are you talking about? I don't know about you, but I'd rather pay $14.99 plus shipping and handling. And I tell you what, because I'd rather pay that, we're going to make it happen. So go ahead, message one of us. We're going to get you that deal. And I mean, come on, you like Vic said, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. What says I love you like an ASAP Network T-shirt? We can get you your very own ASAP Network T-shirt ASAP.
I completely agree with you, Mr. Will Polston. All right. So I think we are ready to jump into some hot topics that we have for you tonight. And I'll tell you what, these topics are smoking. They're hot. They're going to get fire. So our first one, everybody knows that every week we always break down who our top 5 quarterbacks are of a certain team in the NFL. So this week we're going to actually jump on over to the NFC South. And the first team that we're going to talk about in the NFC South is the New Orleans Saints.
Nolan's.
So when we look at the New Orleans Saints top 5 quarterbacks of all time, it's a list that you're like, man, this is kind of disgusting because there's legitimately only maybe 2 quarterbacks that would deserve. No, I'm going to, Will, and you'll know why I'm going to, but there's legitimately only about 2 quarterbacks that deserve to be in the top 5 on this list, period. But we all know who number 1 is going to be, but that's okay. That we'll get into our list here. So our first list is going to actually go to Will. So go ahead, Will, give us your top 5 quarterbacks.
Wow, what an atrocious list. Okay, this might rival. No, I tell you what. Our number 1 is going to surpass the Bears quarterback number 1 any day of the week. So I can't say this rivals the Bears. The Bears are always worse. But let's start at number 5. I'm going to go with Billy Kilmer. An interesting choice. And by the way, there's no right or wrong answers. There's not. Okay, this is a personal list, and whenever I'm statistically diving, I'm reaching at nuts and bolts here. Okay, this is kind of tough here. Billy Kilmer, I'm going to go with it. He's 6th all time in the Saints' history in passing yards, touchdowns, and completions, all the way well-rounded. But there were some other things and some other people that similar to number 5 on the list that there were some things, statistical oddities that I wasn't interested in. I didn't think they earned the number 5 spot, so I'm going to give it to Billy Kilmer. Number 4, I'm going to go Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks, 3rd all-time in passing yards and passing touchdowns. If you look at his record, it's not great. Okay, and remember that comment when I get too higher up in this list. At number 3, here's the hot one. I have Archie Manning. Archie Manning at number 3. He is 2nd all-time in Saints history in passing yards, 3rd all-time in passing touchdowns, 2-time Pro Bowler. I mean, amazing numbers when you're looking at it, but this guy was really not great. Okay, I mean, whenever you're looking at it, in 11 seasons, he only had 1 season in which he even played 500 ball. This guy had a 35-91-3 record. Okay, that's terrible. Okay,
But he gets bonus points because he gave us Peyton and Eli.
By the way,
bonus
best
points.
football dad of all time. Okay, but this is Saints quarterbacks list. Okay, this is. I don't care who your offspring is. We're judging you, Archie. Okay, and Archie, I have you at 3 all time on the Saints list. We'll talk about it later. Okay, number 2, I have Bobby Hubbard. Okay, and here's why. He joins only Drew Brees. Foreshadowing, by the way, as the only other Saints quarterback with at least 25 games started to have a winning record. Okay, and that's all you need to know. There are only 2 quarterbacks all time who have started at least 25 games for the Saints organization and have a winning record. And Bobby Hubbard is one of them. Because of that, I have to put him up there. He's 2nd all time in Saints history in wins, 3rd in completion percentage, 4th in touchdowns. The numbers are there. The wins are there, which is rare to say. But yeah, Bobby Hubbard at number 2. And obviously, we all know who number 1 is. Drew Brees. Brees is himself. He's the only quarterback. Okay, I have a couple of stats here to really kind of hone home on this, just to tell you the greatness that Drew Brees is. He's the only quarterback in Saints franchise history with more than 50 wins. He has 140. He's the only quarterback with more than 120 touchdowns in Saints history. He has 488. He's the only quarterback with more than 22,000 yards in his career, and he has over 67,000. I mean, it does not get more obvious for a number one whenever it comes to Drew Brees. In 15 seasons with New Orleans, he's led the league in completions percentage 7 times, passing yards 7 times, passing touchdowns 4 times. I mean, the guy's amazing. We all know who Drew Brees is. We've gotten lucky to see him flourish in the league. We've seen him grow up throughout the league. He's amazing. He's obviously the number one pick in New Orleans, and really, that's the only right or wrong answer, if we're going to be completely honest.
So the one thing that I was kind of surprised about is that you said Drew Brees had 480. He actually has over 500 touchdowns. Yes, he keeps going up. And I think
may not have included this season's numbers.
Yeah,
so.
and I think the biggest thing that kind of surprises me about the Drew Brees aspect is that the dude's never won an MVP. So tell me. So tell me how has this guy never won an MVP? I don't understand that. All right. So before the Vic goes, I'll go ahead and I'll give you my top 5 really, really quick because of the simple fact that there was a few things that I'm like, Will, it's your list. I get it. You know, there's no right or wrong on this except for number 1. We said that before. But number 5, I actually went with Jim Everett, which, like I said, yep, you can put him in there. At the time when Jim Everett left, he was actually the career passing leader for the Saints. He passed for 10,622 career yards. Yeah, his touchdown to interception ratio wasn't great because he had 60 to 48. But in reality, who on this Saints list for quarterbacks had that stellar of a touchdown interception ratio? None of them did, except for Drew Brees. Drew Brees is like that only guy. Other than that, there's really nobody else. So the number 4, we actually go to Bobby Herbert. Haha, Vic likes that name.
Herbert. Bobby Hebert. I thought that was Bobby Hebert. I think
it's Hebert. It's Hebert, yeah.
It's Hebert. I'm sorry. Yes.
Nolan's.
You're right. I pronounced it wrong. You're right. I'm sorry. It's Hebert. Okay. But then now he overtook Jim Everett for the career passing yards leader at the time. He was quarterback, and he actually passed for 14,632 career yards. He had 85 touchdowns to 75 career interceptions. The reason why I actually put him at number 4 was because he actually led him to 3 straight playoff appearances. Now, the reason why you couldn't put him higher on the list is because, yes, he was one of those quarterbacks that was a big-time choker in the playoffs. He choked all the time. He had a horrible game against the Eagles in the playoffs to where he threw like four interceptions. And then he had another game to where he threw 3. So, realistically, not a good quarterback in the playoffs. Big-time choker. And then number 3, of course, Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks, before Drew Brees came, had 19,156 career passing yards, 120 touchdowns. So, hey, guess what? He surpassed that 100 touchdown mark. Congratulations, Aaron Brooks. And then had 84 interceptions. Now, the one thing that you might forget, too, is that Aaron Brooks is actually the one who led the Saints. There's J-Mac.
Touchdown.
Everybody welcome in J-Mac. All right, so the thing is about Aaron Brooks that a lot of people probably forget is that Aaron Brooks actually led the Saints to their first playoff victory when they came in and beat the Rams. Now, number 2, I went with Archie Manning. And, Will, this is why. You're going to talk about his career passer rating. You're going to talk about his career touchdown and interception numbers and everything. But this is the thing that you're failing to mention. The dude in his entire career in New Orleans was sacked 340 times. He was sacked by far the most. So he could never play a full season because he was always running for his life. And so there was actually people who at some point, besides him winning that MVP honor one time on the NFC side in 1978, there's people that said he should have won it a lot more because of what he's gone through in his whole entire career. When you're getting sick, come on, man.
Oh, give me that.
340 times? You're getting sacked 340 times. That is crazy. Just think if he would have kept playing.
Maybe in a season, okay. I'll give you an MVP if you get sacked 340 in a season and finish it, okay? Not an old time in your career. All right, get out of here. All right, whatever.
Anyway, he passed for 21,734 yards, 115 touchdowns, and I know Will's going to be like, "Oh, look at the interceptions." I know he threw 156. I understand that. But when you're being sacked pretty much every time you drop back, you got to get rid of the ball. So, I mean, I'm not blaming that all on him. He was back in the era when they were the Aints. Just saying, they were the Aints. All right.
They were the Aints in every era but the Drew Brees era.
Well, there was that one year with Aaron Brooks when they actually won that playoff game. So, there you go. All right. So, and then, of course, you have number one, which is Drew Brees, over 500 career touchdowns, over 70,000. I mean, come on. You can go so much into Drew Brees, like we were just talking about how he was never an NFL MVP is beyond me. I don't understand. And he's another one of those quarterbacks that you can pretty much have anybody out there, and he will still make that receiver look good. So that is my top five. So this one I'll go ahead and I'll give it to Vic.
But before Vic goes, you had mentioned on my boy Bobby Hebert, my number two, by the way, not number three or whatever. You had mentioned that you could say that he was a choker in the playoffs. How many of these Saints quarterbacks went to the playoffs? Okay, give them.
I give him credit because he went to 3 straight. So trust me, I give him credit. But
you're not supposed to be drinking that.
Go 3 times straight.
But when I look at I mean, it's sad. Like, it's crazy that he's never had over 100 career touchdown passes, but most of the Saints quarterback have. So, in my honest opinion, this top 5 list, oh my God, it was brutal. All right, so
that was fun. All right.
So I'll go to the Vic.
All right, I got a lot of the same names you guys do. So I'm not really going to go into the stats like you guys did, but I got number 5, Billy Kilmer, 1967, 70, back when, passing wasn't really a thing. Number 4, Aaron Brooks, 2000 to 2005. Number 3, Bobby Hebert. I just like saying Hebert. I don't know. He had the bowl cut. I liked it. And he was there for 8 seasons. So I agree. We should have done just top 3.
Maybe 1.
maybe top 2. Number 2, Archie Manning. He's number 2 alone just because of the last name and who he gave us. He gets bonus points. I mean, come on, he gets bonus points for giving us Peyton and Eli. Number 1, I have Joey Harrington when he was the backup there. It's Drew Brees. It's always going to be Drew Brees. He's just phenomenal. He's the guy. There's nobody even close to him in this list.
There's no way.
I zoned out for a minute, and I forgot we were talking about the Saints, and I was like, "Oh, Joey Harrington, nice." All right. Yeah, that was bad. Okay.
I mean, you could have thrown in Bridgewater if you wanted to, I guess. I
don't like Bridgewater.
Undefeated as a Saints starter.
J-Mac, go ahead and take it away, sir.
Oh, my goodness. Pretty much the same players you guys got. There might be one. There might be one different at number 5, though. I'll tell you that. I got Jim Everett. He was only there for 3 years, but in those 3 years, I mean, he wasn't horrible. He did throw for 10,000 yards and 60 touchdowns in 3 seasons. So that was, 94 to 96. So it's not like it was horrible during that time. 4, I got Hebert. 3 is Aaron Brooks. 2 is Archie Manning, and 1's Drew Brees. I don't really know how the list is any different than those.
What's funny is when you said Everett was actually my number 5 too. So we were actually the same on that one with that list. So that list was fun. Let me tell you guys that. I think you guys thoroughly you guys really enjoyed that list.
Bobby Hebert deserves more respect. Put him in the hall.
He does. I'm sorry, he does. All right. So now jumping to our next topic. This topic I'm going to actually really, really enjoy. I think we're going to all enjoy this one. Our next topic is we're going to talk about who the worst team we thought was in history. Now, we're not only talking about NFL or baseball. We're talking about every sport in general, who we think is the worst sports team of a season. What season was worse? All right. So with this one, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Vic. So the Vic, go ahead.
All right. I may have gone a different direction than everybody else. I didn't go by what their record win-loss was. I went by what a bunch of jerks they were as the worst team ever, which was the 2002-2003 Portland Jailblazers.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that.
I'm dissing my own team. We got it started in May 2002. Zach Randolph, big baby, underage drinking. Then in November is when it just got ugly. Rasheed Wallace, Damon Stoudemire, marijuana possession after they're going home in a game in Seattle. They went to drug counseling. Reuben Patterson arrested for domestic violence against his wife. 4 months later, Quintel Wood cited for speeding, driving without insurance, and of course, marijuana possession. 2003, Randolph punched Patterson in the face during practice, breaking his eye socket. July 2003, Stoudemire arrested in Arizona after he was caught with, guess what? Marijuana.
Oh.
There goes the history of the
in Oregon.
This was in 2003. 2003, before it was legal. So that's how I went worst team, because they were they were great players. They were horrible, horrible people, and that makes a bad team in my mind.
All right,
so I didn't go like Cleveland, like 0-12 or whatever, or 16. I went just who I hated the most.
That kind of surprises me. I wasn't expecting you to go that route, but hey, that's okay. That's your opinion, and I'm cool
like
with
to
that.
surprise.
So, J-Mac, you go ahead and give me your list. Worst team ever.
Worst team ever. And I'll tell you, I don't think any team will ever be worse than the team I picked. I really don't. The 1976 and 1977 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They lost 26 consecutive games before they won one as an expansion team. And, I mean, this team was awful. So, just to give you a few things about them, I mean, they were 0-14 their first year. They got shut out 5 times. 5 times they scored 0 points that year. The next year they went to go 12 straight losses. And if things didn't get worse, like they won 2 games and then they won 3 games the following year and they went back to 2 games like their 4th year. Like that first 4 years in Tampa Bay was maybe the worst of all time in 4 seasons in the NFL. They actually considered folding after 4 seasons as a franchise. A lot of people don't know that actually, but before Rich McKay came in and turned that team around. But yeah, the 76-77 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are by far the worst team ever.
All right, Mr. Will Polston.
Did I misinterpret this? Because I made a top 5 list.
Yeah, you were only supposed to have 1. That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, awkward. All right. All right. Well, then I'm going to go with my number 1 because it's the one that I figured nobody was going to get. And maybe unfair to them because they only played 1 game. But boy, was it bad. Let's go all the way back to 1916 when the Cumberland Bulldogs from Lebanon, Tennessee faced Georgia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
And a group of 14 fraternity brothers got together, went all the way out to Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech in Grant Field and lost 222-0. The most lopsided game in sports history, so bad that not only was this not a football team, their football team had already been discontinued prior, but then they also had to disband the football program 4 more years after that. That should let you know how bad a team is when you take a whooping so bad that you can't show your face for 4 years. That is the worst team ever. I mean, when you yes, at J-Mac, I had your 76, 77 Bucks as number 2 on this 5 list, and they had a negative 287 point differential in 76 alone. This team had a negative 222 point differential in one game. Okay, it doesn't get much worse than that. Cumberland Bulldogs, Lebanon, Tennessee, Cumberland College. Don't show your face again. Worst team in history.
Run away.
So it actually surprises me a little bit about the route that you guys were going, with the Vic going with her least favorite because of how they were, not how they were on the court, but how they were off the court. That kind of surprised me. Will going with one game that surprised
the only game that season, and they were bad.
Yes,
they were bad.
Yeah. Okay, I completely agree with you on that one. And then J-Mac going the other way. That I thought that most people were going to go.
Maybe the actual way to go about this.
Yeah, the actual way. So I actually went that same way also that J-Mac went. But I actually went to the NHL side. And I actually went to the 1975 Washington Capitals. So it was actually, it was their expansion year. Mm-hmm. And they were 8-67-5. By far the worst hockey team that has ever played. I mean, that was the worst season I've ever seen in hockey. I don't think you'll get anywhere near that bad of a season. This team was so bad that they were held scoreless 12 times that season. And that same season, they allowed 10 or more goals 7 times. In a season, yes, they lost 37 consecutive road games, and of the 40 games that they played that year on the road, they won 1. They went 1-39 on the road that season.
Brandon, why you poking the bear?
He's going with Goff. So you're talking about a differential in scoring, right? To where you said that the Cumberland Bulldogs, I think, is, as you said it,
that would be correct,
had a scoring differential of 225, right? Okay. Well, this team, the Washington Capitals, had a scoring differential of negative 265. And
wait, that was hockey?
They played one game.
That's hockey. They had a scoring differential of 265.
Wait, but Will, we're talking about a sport that averages like 5 points a game, and they had a differential of negative 265. That's insane to think about. That's awful. And I recant saying that the Buccaneers team was the worst ever because you two just proved me wrong. I'm sorry.
Hey, so I'm willing to go back and forth on statistics all night on why my team's worse. Okay.
Okay, but here's another thing. This Washington Capitals team had 3 coaches that season. 3.
Okay,
They fired their coach halfway through the season. And then they hired another coach. He lasted 9 games. And then they fired him. And then the last coach finished the remaining games. And I'm like, oh, my God, 3 coaches in the same season. Oh. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I don't know how you get any worse than the 1975 Washington Capitals.
It's funny that you talked about coaching because my coach of my Cumberland Bulldogs was the team manager of a football team that didn't exist. And then he just happened to pick 14 of his fraternity brothers that were dumb enough to go do this. And by the way, when was the last time a team finished a single season with negative yards?
Okay.
Negative 27 yards in that game they ended up with.
Okay, but this team, so the Washington Capitals, also gave up 446 goals.
If the Cumberland Bulldogs played 2 games, they would have gave up 406.
I don't know. I'm just saying, man.
They're off for a very bad start. 220 is not a great start.
No. It'll go down.
Great story, by the way. Anybody watching that doesn't know about that team, go look into that team. I think half of them missed the flight on the way there. I think 4 different quarterbacks got hurt in the game. One of them ended up getting a concussion or breaking an arm and had to come back and play quarterback in the same game. It's an amazing story. Go look at it.
Where's the water boy when you need him?
Right, Bobby Boucher. I mean,
Bobby Boucher. Mama
they
said.
should play each other in a sport not related. They shouldn't play hockey or football. They should play like
Basketball.
They should bowl. They should bowl.
That would be a little bit hard now because when you think about it, obviously this Washington Capitals team is a lot better now. I mean,
I don't want to speak on behalf of my people because they were alive in 1916, so I can't imagine the competition level that they can bring in 2020. So I'm gonna.
So did you guys just have, without even going into detail too much, like me when I thought about this, my honorable mention of this that was really, really close, I would have to say that it was the Charlotte Bobcats.
I had them listed
because they had 8 wins as an NBA team that season, the lowest ever. And that team got so bad that they had to change their name again. So
they went into witness protection.
So that was my honorable mention.
Yeah. Talk about a team that lost so bad that they had to change their name. I also had, besides the 76 Bucks, besides the Bobcats, I also had the 1899 Cleveland Spiders.
Oh yeah, they were bad.
Atrocious. 20-134. Also lost 101 road games. By the way, 101 road games. What is that? That's crap. And then I also had the 08 Lions, which Nate had mentioned in the comment section. And then Dan Orlovsky just walking out the back of the end zone. Awesome. Great football moment, by the way. And then the 72-73 Philadelphia 76ers.
So,
that was for Mr. Chris Brown.
So if you remember, though, about the Cleveland Spiders team, the one thing to remember about that is the owner of the Cleveland Spiders actually owned another team in the league, too. And so he knew that once that Cleveland Spiders team was so bad, he started taking all of his good players off the Cleveland Spiders team and placing them on his other team to make them better, and then taking all their bad players off that team and putting them on the Cleveland Spiders. So he sabotaged. So he like sabotaged his own team by trading his own teams.
And who wins in the end? Because the Cleveland Spiders are about to be yet again. We now have the Cleveland baseball
Spiders needs to just go away anyway.
Right? Oh, absolutely. All right, so J-Mac, did you have an honorable mention?
Well, Will actually took mine. I'm not going to lie. It was the Cleveland Spiders. I mean, they won 20 games. And then if I would have gone to a second honorable mention, it would have been the Bobcats that won 8 games. So you guys hit both of them, actually. We've had some awful teams. I mean, we've had some awful teams in sports. And, like, hats off to those the fans that have stuck around for those teams, because my God, there's been some bad teams. Luckily, I really haven't had to face that a whole lot with the teams that I root for, and it's not because they were winning. It's just the teams that I lucked into. But, I mean, there was some terrible, terrible seasons in teams' history. So hats off to fans. Yeah, bad.
Yeah, bad's not even the word for some of these seasons. And I don't even think anybody's touched on that Cleveland Browns team that had one win when Hugh Jackson was like 1-31 in his first two. Like, it was that bad. That Cleveland Browns team was horrible.
I must say,
I just feel sorry for them, so I didn't want to add to their pain.
Right?
I must say, 2020 Jets would have been an honorable mention if they didn't get Jared Goff. How you done?
Well, they're still an honorable mention because they won themselves right out of the number 1 pick, probably.
Okay, stupidest move in franchise history, yes, but they beat Jared Goff. How you doing?
So I was like, tell me now, Will. I have a question for you. They have worked themselves out of the number 1 pick, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, correct. They're number 2.
If Jacksonville is able to get Trevor Lawrence, does that make them an intriguing team for next year if he's coupled with James Robinson at running back and having 2 solid receivers in Chark and Keelan Cole?
Well, the fact that Keelan Cole is considered an interesting wide receiver kind of hurts my heart. But No, I mean, they're going to do better. I mean, in my opinion, it's a step up, obviously. I mean, who would you rather have? I'd take Trevor Lawrence in high school before I took Gardner Minshew in the pros. But
Right?
I would, no, I don't think they're going to be that much better. I think you're still going to see them as a bottom 10 team. I mean, whenever you're looking at them, they're still atrociously offensive on the defense. Their O-line leaves way too much to be desired. Their wide receivers aren't as great as you're claiming them to be. And their running back, James Robinson, shout out to them, the one bright spot on the year, Pro Bowl snub, by the way. But no, I can imagine they're going to get more tape on Robinson. Robinson's going to be slowed down. Congrats to have the production, but I don't see it happening again. Okay. No, I don't know. Honestly, even if they get Trevor Lawrence, I still wouldn't put him above like 4 wins, to be completely honest.
All right, so
that's just stupid.
Before we go into too much detail on this aspect, because we have some more topics to cover, so that was like a little going off top. But hey, that's okay. That's okay. We still got plenty
to have fun here.
But oh yeah, absolutely. It's all about fun and randomness. That's what makes it the best. So our next topic that we have, we're actually gonna go over to the baseball diamond and we're gonna toss the ball around a little bit.
Can I say one thing really quick?
Yeah. Go ahead, Vic.
Okay, Will talked about Pro Bowl snub of James Robinson. I would like to bring it out to the world, the Pro Bowl snub of DeForest Buckner. The dude is leading the defensive side of everything. And
how did I know it was going to be a Ducks player? How did I know?
Even if it wasn't a Duck. I mean, the dude is number 1 in like 4 categories.
No, I get it. I'm just
saying,
I'm not surprised that it's a Ducks player.
It's a snub.
All right.
I'm mad. And I'm
right. So, going to our next topic, like I said, we're going over to the diamond. We're going to we're going to toss the ball around a little bit. So, we're going to actually talk about the AL West. So, with the AL West, you know what? J-Mac hasn't started yet. So, J-Mac, go ahead and give me your predictions and something about the AL West. Go ahead.
Well, I'll say that the Seattle Mariners this year are the front runners to end up.
That's a spicy meatball.
At number 5 in the AL West because
over 100 losses.
They are, by the way, the only team in Major League history that has never made the World Series, and that will continue at least one more season. So I got the Mariners at number 5. I had the Angels at number 4 by not very much, to be honest, against the Mariners. Then the top 3 were kind of interesting, but I think that the Rangers come out at number 3. And then I got Houston at 2 because I have that Moneyball team at number 1 in the Oakland A's. I think Oakland A's, I think that they can pull that out and win that division. So,
boy,
yeah,
no, it's cool.
I mean, write this one down.
It's cool. I think the biggest thing that shocks me is that you have Texas at number 3, knowing that they really haven't done a whole lot.
Well, look who else they got to work with.
Yeah.
You think the Angels were going to do anything? They never do anything. They pay millions and millions of dollars to people, and they lose 100 games a year. You're the best player in baseball, and you suck.
I get that, but that's why when it comes to my list, I think you guys are going to be surprised a little bit, and that's only because I cannot backtrack for what I said.
Well, now we're going to be surprised because you basically told us.
No,
I know what's
last week. And you know what's coming, Will, because I talked about the Angels last week, and I can't change it. I cannot backtrack because I said this was the year that the Angels were going to get off the schneid and they were going to finally make the playoffs because all the moves that they have made is going to finally pan out because it's going to – I personally think it's going to be a full season. I think it's going to happen. And so where I'm going with this – it's going to be a shocker because we all know that the Angels starting pitching isn't exactly what you would say great. But number 5 actually have
they have
yes, I know, they're not great. Yes, I know. Trust me, but it's coming. It's coming. That lineup is good enough because Vic, you have to think about too. What the Braves lineup for the longest time was stellar, and there was times where we didn't have pitching, but our lineup was good enough to win us games. But once we made it to the playoffs, well, we know what happened there because our starting pitching got rocked, and then we ran into really good pitching. I just said that the Angels were going to make the playoffs. I didn't say that they were going to win the World Series. But anyway, number 5, I'm going with the Texas Rangers.
Ooh.
I am. Yeah. Look at me, Will. I just Texas Rangers number 5.
Look into my eye.
Oh man.
Yes. And that's completely okay because you know what? Nate is a Rangers fan, and Nate has them at 4. I'm not saying that the Rangers are going to be like a lot better than Seattle because I know Seattle's atrocious too. But I think that Texas is just as bad because Texas hasn't done anything to really make themselves better. Seattle hasn't. So it's going to be a fight for 4th and 5th, to be perfectly honest there. So you can go either way, but I'm going to go Texas at 5, Seattle at 4, and then I'm going to go with Houston at 3. And the reason I'm going with Houston at 3 when you think about it, because right now we don't even know, is George Springer going to be an Astro? Is he going to be? We don't know if George Springer is going to be an Astro. George Springer is a significant part of that lineup. Is Justin Verlander going to be healthy? I don't know. So I'm just looking at these facts and going, you know what? Is Springer going to be there? I don't know. Is Verlander going to be healthy? I don't know. When Verlander's there, obviously he can be in consideration for Cy Young every year because that's how good Justin Verlander is. They actually, last year, they took a little bit of a step back, even though they made the ALCS against the Rays. They made it. But in the regular season, they have that step back, but they happen to catch fire at the end, which when teams do, hey, that's the time you want to do it. You want to catch fire at the end. But I've got them at number 3 because to me, there's just some questions in there that I'm not quite sure on yet. And then number 2, obviously the Moneyball team, because Oakland to me is one of those teams that I root for on the side. You know, they're not my favorite team, but I'm like, hey, how can you not root for them? Because they don't go out and spend all this money like the Yankees do and the Dodgers do and the Red Sox. No, they don't do that. So I like this team because they're like homegrown, bring them up and use them from the minors. That's what I like about it. And this team is based off of pitching. I like their pitching staff, and they're not powerful hitters. The only really power guys they have is Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, and then Chris Davis. Chris Davis isn't always out there. Trust me, he's hurt all the time. Chris Davis is not always in that lineup. But when he's in there, he does have power. And then my number 1, I'm going to go with the LA Angels because I can't backtrack. I'm not going to jump ship. I said it. So I got to stick with it. I just think that their lineup is too good. If they go out and get a few more pieces of pitching, I think they're going to be fine. All right. So now you all right. Yeah. So you gave me those funny looks, and you know what? That's fine. When this happens, I will bring you back to this episode when this happens, and then you all will eat some humble pie.
I'll be here.
You will be right here, and you will be eating.
I'll be here with a big appetite, ready to go.
Yeah, you'll be eating that humble pie. All right,
you, please.
All right, so Vic, go.
I want some ice cream on the side.
All right, Vic, go ahead and take it away.
All right, number 5, I got the Mariners. Even though today I did my PS4 The Show 20 in March to October, and the Mariners won the World Series with 120 wins.
What?
I figured that's as close as they're going to get. So I had to give them a World Series win on my video game. But yeah, they're number 5. JP Chapman's up and coming. Mitch Haniger. If they're smart, they're going to trade Mitch Haniger for a lot of small pieces minor leaguers to bolster their system. Number 4, I got the Rangers, just because they're the Rangers. I mean, you got Rug Nadador and Elvis Andrus, and well, that's pretty much it. That's all I can name.
There you go.
Number 3, I got the Angels because, I mean, they're a little bit better than the Mariners and the Rangers, but not by a lot. I mean, offensively, they can light it up, but when you got Julio Teheran and Ohtani as your pitchers, if Ohtani is healthy, he's going to be good, but I would make him pick a side. I wouldn't be dueling him anymore. He's either a pitcher or everyday player because he's just going to break himself. Number 2, I have the Astros because it all does depend on George Springer. Is he going to stick around? I think he will. I think Houston's going to pony up some money. He's too big of a part of their nucleus to let him go anywhere. And number 1, I got the Athletics. I think this is the year they finally get into the playoffs and get over that wild card hump and get into the ALCS. Matt Chapman's going to be, if he's healthy, he's going to be great. Chris Davis is going to be phenomenal. Tony Kemp, he's a pretty good dude. But my favorite player, and it's just the name, Sky Bolt. I mean, come on. How cool of a name is that for a baseball player? Sky Bolt. I don't know what he does. I just saw his name on the list. He's a right fielder, I think. 26 years old. But his name's Sky Bolt. And he was born in Atlanta. That's it. That's my picks.
I question Chris Davis, and that's only because, like I said, he can't stay healthy. That's the biggest knock on him. But I think Will likes it because I think Will likes it because you're going with Sky Bolt. So I think that's why he really likes it because you're like, I love this guy.
Number 1, Oakland Athletics, Sky Bolt.
Sky Bolt.
Don't know who he is, but that's an awesome name. Yeah.
Were you playing PS4 with the show? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
And the Mariners won the World Series.
Yeah.
120.
Mitch Haniger had 67 home runs.
How many? What?
67 for Mitch Haniger, long ball.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Were you on rookie mode?
Beginner level.
Right?
Beginner level.
Beginner level. Well, it had to be. My goodness.
Goodness.
Oh my goodness! So
you're
playing? Are you playing that with? Are you playing the basketball version with Freddie, where he thinks the Lakers are going to repeat this year?
No, I don't have the basketball game. I have Madden and I have the show, and I play on the lower levels because I don't like to lose. I get very angry when I lose. I have a bit of an anger management problem.
I'm there with you.
Instead, Haniger's hitting 67 long balls.
67 home runs.
And the Mariners are winning 120.
Right. So if he's hitting 67 home runs, how many RBIs did he have? 85? Because who else is getting on base in Seattle?
I had Malik Smith and J.P. Crawford and Kyle Seager.
She had like Kyle Lewis.
They shifted on Kyle Seager all the time, so I just popped it to the left side every time. He got doubles all the time.
All right. So with that 120 win team of the Seattle Mariners, we're gonna jump over to Will Polston here.
I mean, how do you follow that up? I mean,
because
first place. I mean, they're getting Haniger back, so Seattle Mariners, they're gonna win 120.
Right.
No. Let's start at the bottom. I mean, we were already there. Seattle Mariners. Terrible, abysmal team. What more can be said about them? Going on to number 4 would be the Texas Rangers, who have literally no pitching. Lost Corey Kluber, lost Lance Lynn. It's going to be a battle of dumpster fires down there, and it's going to be fun to watch. I tell you what, tune in for all your Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners divisional play. That's going to be fun baseball. Number 3, I'm going to be devil's advocate. I'm going with the Oakland Athletics. I don't believe in the Oakland Athletics. I still don't, and I never will. You could win 12 straight World Series, and I will not believe in you, Oakland. They have no pitching. Who outside of Sean Manaea pitches on that team? They lost Liam Hendricks, their biggest bullpen piece, and that's the only bright spot they had in that pen. Now they have nothing on the back half of the bullpen. They don't have anything in the front half of the rotation, nor the back half. It's just a big fat question mark in Oakland whenever it comes to pitching, and it has been for many years, and they've found a way to do it. But I think this is a little bit too far. Manaea is at least serviceable. He's not an ace. At best, he should be a 3. Mike Fiers is for some reason in the MLB on the Oakland Athletics, even though he finds a way to throw a no-hitter almost every single year. Liam Hendricks, one of the best closers in the game, leaving Oakland as of right now. Too many question marks for it. I'm not a big fan of it. Number 2, I'm going with the Los Angeles Angels. Even though they don't have pitching, they don't have anybody, but they've almost every single name under the sun in the offseason. It seems like they're in contention for Colton Wong. It seems like they're in contention for Trevor Bauer. The list goes on. It seems like if you are a free agent and you are either going to go to one of 2 teams, it seems like the Mets or the Angels. Why would they buy pitching? They never have. They never will. But they're going to have a ridiculous lineup. They're going to find a way to do it. And then number 1, devil's advocate again, the Houston Astros. I'm going with it. Their pitching, no matter who they were, even though they were going into the postseason last year and we had no idea who was stepping on the mound, pitched phenomenally. Framber Valdez was absolutely outstanding in the postseason, along with a couple other arms out there in Houston. They've lost a couple of pieces as well. So far, at least, George Springer, Michael Brantley, Roberto Osuna. Yes, but at the end of the day, whenever I'm looking at these lineups, whenever I'm looking at the roster, who's the most complete right now going into the season? And I still have to go Houston. I mean, the Verlander may or may not be healthy, but if he is, we know who Verlander is. Zach Greinke's a good pitcher. Framber Valdez stepped into his own last season. And then they also have Correa, who's one of the biggest butt munches in the MLB. Jose Altuve, who there's no way he can repeat that bad of a season. Alex Bregman, who stayed pretty good throughout the season last year, had his ups and downs, but found his way on the hot streak at the end of the season. It's still the Astros. I mean, they are still who they are at the core. Their lineup is still amazing. Their roster is still good. Definitely good enough to win that AL West, because that's arguably, with the AL Central, the worst division in the American League. And it's close. Don't get me wrong. The tail ends of both divisions are just absolute abysmal. But give me Houston winning the division. I say that unfortunately, but yes, I have to go with it.
Oakland does a lot of small ball, though. That's what they're known for. That's why they're so smart with that. They play a lot of small ball.
He don't like that. He don't like that at all.
Okay, well, if Oakland plays small ball and they keep winning games, then why is everybody saying Tony La Russa is going to be a bad manager because he plays small ball and he plays old school ball? Pick a side, people. Do you want to support the Oakland Athletics or do you want to support Tony La Russa and the Chicago White Sox?
I'm not going to support that. I'm saying I support Oakland, but what I'm saying is this is why Oakland can't get over the Schneid in the playoffs. Because yes, I said they are a small ball team. That's what they do. But you can't win in the playoffs because right now this day and age is built off of power. That's what it is. It's not how it used to be here, to where you could say, okay, everybody get a base hit, get on base. Next guy will come up and get a base hit, and we move them around. That's not what it is now. That's what Oakland does. That's why they're successful in the regular season, can make it to the playoffs, but they can't get past that because then they come into contact with teams that can actually hit the ball out, and that's what they're built off of, and that's what they do. Somebody like the Yankees or the Astros, and so
it's no longer get them on, get them over, get them in.
It's no longer one of those. It's because you always hear an announcer now. If a team is down by 2, it's always
Red Rage. Sorry, that's the name of my where I rant on my own show. That's actually not a nick. Yeah, it's awesome. Great reference.
Go back to what I was saying here, because it used to be, hey, if you were down by 2, it's get some guys on and we'll drive mid. But you constantly hear the announcers now go, we're down by 2, just get a guy on and then hit the ball out. That's what it is now. The whole game has completely changed, and I don't think it'll ever go back to that thing to where it was always average and get on base, because people seem to be so happy when a guy can hit 40 home runs, but he's batting a 240. Everyone's like, yeah, man. Yeah, man, this guy's hitting 40 dongs, but he's batting a 240.
Chris Davis every single season of his career.
Dan
47 hitter with 40 bombs. Yeah.
Dan Ugla when he's
why do
you gotta bring up Dan Ugla?
He had 47 pounds worth of dip in his lip, but I don't know about. I mean,
no,
him and Juan Uribe, best.
No. Okay, Dan Ugla had a 27-game hitting streak in one season, and his batting average to end that year was 211.
That's hot. I love it.
Yes,
but he hit 34 homers.
He did.
We pay him.
How many strikeouts?
He did. And so, but that's what I'm saying now. That's what it is now. People aren't so concerned about averages now. They're concerned about how many home runs you hit, how many runs you drive in. But that's what I'm saying. That's what Oakland does, though. They go base to base to base, but they don't have that homer guy that they can rely on in the playoffs. That's not.
Well, it sounds like you don't believe in the A's, and you should believe in the White Sox. Tony La Russa, manager of the year. How you doing?
No, I'm not. I'm not believing in that either. All right. So going into our next topic is actually J-Mac Spotlight Player.
J-Mac!
So, go ahead and give your Spotlight Player tonight.
Okay, well, I'm going to start this a little different than I normally do. I'm going to ask you guys some questions and see if you can guess who the Spotlight Player is this week, just to kick it up a little bit.
I love games.
I'm a big fan of this.
So what if I told you that there was a guy born in the 70s,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Who's still playing in the NFL, whose name is not Tom Brady. He's still playing quarterback. He has he signed this year with his 10th team.
Oh, Josh McCown.
And it is Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Will, you got that one. No, that's okay. No, Josh McCown. Josh McCown is a guy.
Am I right?
Again, he signed with his 10th team. He plays for the Houston Texans this year. He started his career in 2002. And so it's 2020. I mean, that tells you how long he's been around. This guy keeps getting signed on a team. And you look at his career numbers, they're not that great. Like, he's thrown for 17,000 career yards and 98 touchdowns in 19 years. But just some of the years he's played more, obviously, than he has other years. Now, here's a fun fact, is that in 2018, when Sam Darnold was drafted, and Josh McCown was 39 years old that year, Sam Darnold was 20, and McCown's daughter texted him and said, "Hey, Dad, don't forget the new rookie is a year older than I am." So, I mean, that's pretty fun, right? That's a pretty fun fact about the fact that he's playing with someone that was his kid's age on the same team. He hasn't thrown a pass this year in Houston. He hasn't been active for any games. He played for Philly. He was 3 for 5 for 24 yards. Was the last time he played. He actually played. Where did he play in 2013, Will? It was actually the best. It was Chicago. He had his best touchdown to interception ratio of his entire career that year. His rating was 109.
Yeah, it was.
He threw for 8
quarterback Bears all time.
No doubt. I was going to say that. We didn't even put him on there. But he threw for nearly 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 1 interception in 224 attempts that year.
Spicy.
Pro Bowl. MVP right there.
Right? Should have been MVP Pro Bowl. He also has rushed for over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns in his career. That's something a lot of people don't know, that he has been a scrambler. So kind of an interesting player, kind of a guy who's hung around forever. You wouldn't expect him to hang around forever with his numbers, but very serviceable backup. He can start a game for you if you need him to. So good job on Will knowing who that player was. Josh McCown still hanging around in the NFL. We'll see if he's 41. Again, 19th season. We'll see if he makes it 20 years. I don't know what you guys think, but that's yeah. He'll sign with another team, make it 11.
Heck yeah. I'm for
Yeah,
it.
and if you remember, the big thing about Josh McCown too, I think it was about 4 years ago. If you remember, he was actually going to retire, and he came out and said, I told him I was going to retire, and then it was actually the Jets. The Jets were like, "Hey, Josh, we need a starting quarterback. Can you come in and play?" And Josh is like, "Well, I guess." So he chose to come back in and play for the Jets instead of retiring. And then guess what? After that, he just decided to keep playing. So 4 years ago, he would have been retired if the Jets wouldn't have talked him into coming back and playing for him.
So this is all the Jets' fault.
So it's all the Jets' fault that he's still playing.
Come on, Vic. What's that sexy on an NFL team like a backfield of Josh McCown and Frank Gore?
Right?
He's there for it. I'm signing the check.
Had them together like 110 years old.
Remember, he played in the playoffs last year.
Had a combined age of 412.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, if Josh McCown and Frank Gore were in the same backfield, you're talking about guys that would have played in the NFL for a combined 36 years.
Yeah, and
impressive, actually.
Don't forget, guys. Don't forget, he did play in the playoffs last year when Wentz was hurt and McCown came in against the Seahawks and he played. So,
it's true.
It's awesome. He is beaten time itself.
Well, we always called Frank Gore Father Time. That's his nickname. Is Father Time is Frank Gore.
and Josh McCown can be Uncle
Grandfather
Time.
He's
grandfather time.
He's still right there. He's right there. I mean, it's that close to where which one is Father Time, which one is Grandpa Time? Because I think Frank Gore might be a little bit younger than Josh McCown. I think he is.
Yeah, I believe he's 37.
Okay, well, yeah. So if Frank Gore's a little bit younger, then Josh McCown would be grandfather time, and then Frank Gore would be father time.
And then he's Papa time. Yeah.
My grandpa plays in the National Football League.
Yeah, my grandpa. All right.
That might be soon. His daughter is 21. I mean, so
she's suiting up.
He does have an opportunity for his, grandkid to go to school and be like, my grandpa throws passes in the NFL.
Well,
used to? No, still.
Yeah. You know what's a funny story about Frank Gore too is when I was watching the Jets versus Rams game for some odd reason, it was at the end of the game because it was at the end of the game,
and
yourself. No, it was the end of the game, and the Jets just needed a first down, and I wanted to see if they would get the first down and beat the Rams. So Frank Gore had caught the pass and sealed the game and won it, and it was kind of interesting because the announcer's like, yeah. So when I was interviewing one of the Jets players and I forgot his name, he's like, "Who was your idol?" And he's like, "Well, coming up, my idol was Frank Gore." And they go, "How is it to play on the same team with your idol?" And then I asked Frank Gore, and Frank Gore's like, "Yeah, it sounds kind of weird that I'm playing with somebody that truly admired me, and now I'm playing on the same team with this guy, and I'm like mentoring him. So it's kind of strange."
Very strange.
What I think is funny is that Frank Gore's son only needs one more year of eligibility in the college to be drafted in the NFL.
Which is more entertaining than Bronny and Braun, let me tell you.
Right. I mean, could you imagine that? Could you imagine if Frank Gore's still running and then the team he plays for drafts his son?
I hope they're in the same backfield. Are you kidding me?
That would be awesome.
That'd be phenomenal.
That would be – I would love to see
You
that.
move Gore to fullback, and you let Frank Gore Jr. be the lead back, and it's just yards. It's unlimited yards.
It's just a happy story.
Said the same way about – yeah, I mean, yeah.
All right, so now we jump into our next topic, which is what we believe is kind of what we call the best record ever or the most impressive record that we're like, maybe it won't be broken or it's just the most impressive. So with this one, I'll go ahead and I'll start with J-Mac. Go ahead and give me what you think your most impressive record is.
Well, I'm going to go baseball, and there's a lot of baseball older ones that are never going to be broken. I'm going to go with more of a modern day one that all of us might have seen the tail end of in his career. But Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan threw 7 no-hitters in his career.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm 7.
7.
No one else has thrown more than 2 in all of baseball all time. So he's thrown 7, and I don't think anyone's going to sniff that. I mean, you get guys that have no hitters going in the 7th inning and are getting pulled for the bullpen to finish it out. So think about that. I mean, he threw 7 in his career. I think that's a record that's never going to be broken. It's never going to be touched, not even close. So that's mine.
Yeah, totally agree.
All right, Will.
All right. I got a number for you, folks. You tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. 2,857.
Cal Ripken.
Pizza.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it Freddie Henderson delusional Laker takes? No.
Wayne Gretzky.
Pizza.
It's Wayne Gretzky.
Pizza.
It's Wayne Gretzky.
Not pizza.
The man pizza. Why is it pizza? All right. Why is that? Is that how many toppings?
The number I've ate in my lifetime. I don't know.
Toppings, you're a psychopath. All right. 28.
Sociopath. Get it right.
Logistics. All right. 2,857 points all time for Wayne Gretzky. You know, J-Mac and I are the 2 lead dogs of the quit the GOAT talk, hashtag stop the GOAT talk. And this is the only exception. This is literally the only exception. Wayne Gretzky, I've said it before on Sportsminute in the comment section, that Wayne Gretzky could have never scored a goal and still would have had the most points of all time in hockey. There is nobody even close. He has 1,963 assists. The next closest is Jaromir Jagr with points all time at 1,921. That is ridiculous. Okay, there is nobody that's even going to sniff the points record. It's never going to be even close to be beaten. If anybody even hits 2,000, I will freak out. All right, I mean it's got to be monumental if anybody even gets to that point. Wayne Gretzky, by far the GOAT of hockey and the only GOAT in sports history.
So, Will, will you say that one more time? That he had more assists than anyone else had.
More assists. Keep in mind, points are goals and assists. The combination of the two. Second place in points all time, Jaromir Jagr. Amazing career. 1921 in points all time. Wayne Gretzky, assists all time, 1963.
That's insane.
Ridiculous. Wow. That's the GOAT. Okay. No, that's the title. Okay. Point blank period. It doesn't get better than that. Wayne Gretzky literally never had to score and was still the best hockey player of all time. Amazing.
Yeah, and don't forget too with Gretzky, he actually had 92 goals in one season too.
Oh, so good.
That was in one goal, and then in a total year, he also had 215 total points in the season too. And that's not going to even be like that. Won't even be touched. And you know, Will, the disappointing thing is that's who I was originally going to go with. And so
that's why you got the number right.
So you went ahead and jumped to Wayne Gretzky, and I'm like, you know what? But that's okay because I had some backup plans. But before that, I'll go ahead and I'll give it to the Vic. So you go ahead just to make sure my backup plan wasn't taken.
Oh, I doubt that your backup plan was taken.
What Oregon stat is this?
Nope. No. I'm gonna throw out some numbers for you.
I've got most jerseys in a single season.
302 games played, 336 interceptions. Most interceptions thrown in a career.
Brett Favre.
Thrown in a career.
Brett Favre.
Brett
Yeah.
Favre.
Favre.
Closest person was George Blanda with 277. That was just my fun one. I just wanted to mess with you guys a little bit.
I'm more than a moderator there.
More than a moderator, baby.
Totally fun. But I'm gonna go baseball, and I agree that your the previous two were absolute. Nolan Ryan, great. Wayne Gretzky, great. But Cy Young, 749 complete games. That will never be touched, ever. Because they're pulling everybody after the 6th inning now. The man has an award named after him. What are you laughing at?
Innings in me.
What are you laughing at?
Got to get it all warmed up.
The old soup bone. Feeling freaky loose.
I got a good inning in
So
me.
if a pitcher would reach 10 complete games in a season, it'd be big news now, right?
Facts.
Because they're pulling them. They're pulling them. 749 complete games. Cy Young, untouchable.
So, Vic, I mean, just by going off your
That's
numbers,
impressive.
if a pitcher got 10 complete games a season, he'd have to pitch for 75 years to reach that number.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Never
we
gonna
know
happen.
it's not even going to be close because some people get pulled after a 2-hitter in the 6th inning of Game 6 of the World Series. But
Right? That's crazy.
749 complete games is just impressive in itself. Because, I mean, they pitch how many games a year do they pitch? Probably maybe 25, 30 games a year.
If they pitch every
pitch.
game, if they pitch every game all year, it's 32. And then
So,
your
I mean,
ace pitch is 33, yeah.
so if only they throw a complete game every single game.
Right?
They only have to pitch for 25 years.
Yeah.
For
Maybe
30
if
or
Greg
24
Maddison still pitches, that might happen. But, I mean, Cy Young is just – I'm a baseball fan, and I'm in awe of him pretty much.
That's crazy back in the day because they'd be hitting like 167 pitches. They just and in like the 4th inning.
Yeah, and they didn't have – think of all the things that they don't have. They didn't have all the, the high-tech, physical stuff, the machines and the things like that. I mean, it was just go out and throw until your arm basically falls off.
So, Vic, do you know who Vin Scully is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they said they had him on an interview once, and he said one time after a game, he walked up to Sandy Koufax and was like, "Do you know in that game you threw 215 pitches in that 9-inning game?" And he said Sandy Koufax looked at him and he's like, "Yeah, so? Like, what's your point?"
What's your point?
Now pitchers are like, "Coach, I threw 80. Let's get the pen going."
I'm done. I'm done.
Right?
Yeah, because they had showed a stat on Greg Maddox to where Maddox pitched a complete game, and it took him about 75 pitches to pitch a complete game, and but nowadays 75 pitches is through like 3 or 4
innings,
and then
the pitchers,
and the pitchers are like, "All right, I'm done. Bring out the bullpen, bring him out. I'm done." It's like the pitchers are made of glass now. It's so weird.
Some pitchers get paid $18 million to throw 31 pitches in a season. I'm just saying.
Oh, now we're doing this again. We're doing this again with Cole Hamels. Oh my god.
$346K a pitch. How you doing?
Oh my god. I would love that. I would love it. Bring it on. I'll take it. I'll
just throw one pitch. I'm good.
Sorry,
I'll throw 3. I'm a millionaire.
Oh,
sorry, that one was a little too sensitive for this group.
That was a little sensitive right there because he stole our money, and I wasn't happy about that.
You guys can have football. I'm taking the baseball jokes, okay?
All right. Well, I'll give you that one then. I'll give you that one because we do give the football jokes. So
bear down,
and rightfully so. All right. So you're right, Vic. You did not get the one I was going to say. Now the Brett Favre one I would have done, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Why would you?
Right?
I just did that just because you guys are big Brett Favre guys. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, but that's something that I'm going to be able to answer. So
I'm sure Trubisky will get there pretty soon, so it'll be all right.
You heard me.
Or Wentz will get there before Trubisky, probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my 2 that were left over, since Will stole my Wayne Gretzky, I'm like, dang it! Now I have to go with one of the other 2, and that's okay. But the one that I wasn't quite sure on, so which one do I put over the other one? I don't know. But with this one, the second one. No, yes. So let me tell you the ones that I had, the first one was actually the Boston Celtics when they won 8 straight championships from
That's
1959 to 1966. That was actually really, really impressive because when you think about it, they won 32 consecutive postseason series. That is something that's no team is going to probably be able to touch that.
Now, team's going to make the playoffs 8 teams in a row.
so what was actually the more impressive thing about this is we all know in the NBA nowadays, you get guys who kind of jump from team to team to team. Well, back then you got to think
in the ring.
This Boston's team that made it to 8 straight finals, this was a team that actually stayed intact. This team was together pretty much all 8 years. Now that's not something you're going to see. You're going to see guys go here, always get traded. LeBron jumping from team to team to team. You have a Kevin Durant leaving, going team to – it's just something that you're not going to see anymore. So that's why it was so impressive, but still 8 straight. The only team that I would say that would have came close to it would have been the Bulls. Had Michael Jordan not left for that year and a half, I think the Bulls might have made it to 8 straight. I really think that they would have. You're saying no?
I'm saying they would have gotten 8 straight. No way.
Yeah, they would have.
They had 3.
No,
they had 3, and then Jordan
no
left,
one beating those teams.
And then once Jordan came back, he had 3 more. I still say if Jordan would have stayed, they would have won both those.
I thought the first year he came back, they didn't, and then they won 3. Or was it 3 and then didn't the fourth?
He came back halfway through that season. So when he came back, he wasn't completely there. So he missed about a full year and a half. So if he would have been playing those whole 2 years, I tell you, they would have won. I think they would have won them both. And that would have been the only team that I would have tell you that would have won 8 straight besides the Boston Celtics. That was the more impressive thing. True.
Okay, but most of that for the reasons why they didn't win more falls on Jerry Krause. If you watch the Last Dance, because Jordan told you he could have talked anyone on that team back to come and win a 7th ring in 9 years, and they would have done it too in '99. But Jerry Krause had already made up his decision that was it. They weren't doing it again.
Yeah, and so also when you look at that, so Nate's saying to blame Bill Russell. What the guy has 11 rings. What are you going to blame Bill Russell for? Yeah, that could be another record that possibly is not going to be touched because who's going to get 11 rings? I mean, I don't think you're going to see that. But anyways, my other one that I had was actually on the basketball side too, which was Wilt Chamberlain when he averaged 50.4 points for the whole season. Now, I know when people look at that, they think, that's pretty impressive, and it is impressive. But here's the interesting fact about that, though, is back then you actually got a lot more possessions than you do now. So you were able to kind of stretch it out and pad your stats a little bit more because you got more.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at a comment that Brandon Herrera had.
No, go ahead.
He said, Vic is right. The Bulls would not have won 8. They would have won 9.
You're right. They would have. They probably would have. And then at this point, it would have been no question who was the greatest team ever at that point. It would have been not the 90s Bull team. And I think that that's still a debate on, is this Celtics team the best ever or is that Bulls team the best ever? But right now you have to put the Celtics there because they actually won the 8 straight. So I don't know how you can't say that this Celtics team was the best team ever. Will, were you going to say something?
Can I give an honorable mention?
Go ahead.
And honestly, doesn't really deserve to be honorable, should be up there. But let's give some credit to the women. Let's give credit to the UConn Husky women winning 126 games straight, including the postseason, that is, including the tournament. 126 games straight. Something we actually all got to see completely in our lifetime. UConn basketball, shout out American Conference. Absolutely phenomenal. Team is never to be beaten. I remember going to a American Conference team And our women's basketball team was also very good. We were typically ranked towards the bottom of 25, but we were typically fighting for that spot. And we would go to those games, and it would be sold out in our stadium, and you would not believe the chance for UConn in that place. I mean, no matter where they went, they turn your stadium into an away game, and they're phenomenal. UConn Husky fans are absolutely phenomenal. The women's basketball program is 126 wins straight, phenomenal, never to be touched again, unless the Huskies again.
So I wanted to throw out a surprise here for you guys, and that's why I didn't send this out in the topics, because this is some stuff that I know that Will really, really enjoys. We're going to actually, since we have a little bit of time, we're going to play a little game.
I like games.
But this game is going to be called Pass, Hold, or Fold. And this is going to be coming to certain players that we're going to be talking about. So pass, hold, or fold. So if you think that you're like, pass, I'm not quite sure, just say pass. If you want to fold that player, you're basically saying fold, he's gone. Or if you're going to say, hold. I think he's going to be fine. So hold. You kind of get the concept?
They're like cards.
Pass, hold, or fold.
Keep them or fold them.
Got it.
Yeah. Keep them or fold them. Okay.
So wait, before we move on, let me just make sure I got this clear. Is pass worse than fold, or is fold the bottom line?
Fold is the bottom.
Okay, so I'm with it.
You got it. Okay.
One day before we get started, William, I believe last year, my Oregon Women Ducks went into Connecticut, into their own house, and beat them, which was like their first loss at home in a really long time. And they've currently won 23 straight. So, I mean, only 140 something to go. So we might get there.
All right. So before we go on to some more Ducks Mania, we're going to go ahead and jump into our little game here so we can.
I love it. Let's go.
Okay. So the first one we're going to start with is Carson Wentz with the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz, quarterback. Will he still be there? And this one, J-Mac. What do you think? Pass, hold, or fold?
So is the question, what would I do with Carson Wentz, or what are the Eagles going to do with Carson Wentz?
So in your opinion, what are they going to do?
Well, the Eagles are going to move on from Carson Wentz. I don't think they should. So I think you look at one guy, you have one bad year, and you're just going to give him away for a bag of chips. We saw how well that worked out for Houston Texans and DeAndre Hopkins. So, but I think they're gonna pass on him.
All right, Will Polston, what do you think?
Oh man, Carson Wentz. You know what? Due to the financial situation, I'm gonna say hold, because even if they get rid of him, they're still royally screwing themselves by getting rid of him too. I mean, no matter way you look at it, it's a cap problem either way. Who am I kidding? They're gonna fold. They're folding. There's no way they don't. I mean, there's a team that's out there, a la Chicago, a lot of teams that need a quarterback. Who knows if Dak's going to sign in Dallas? That could be another quarterback spot. There's a ton of teams that need a quarterback right now. I'm going to go fold. They're going to find some team desperate enough to keep him. They're going to move on.
All right, the Vic, what do you got? Pass, hold, or fold?
His time in Philadelphia is done. He illustrated how much he's not a team player by saying, if I'm not the starter, I want traded. I want out. I mean, earn your job back. Show up, earn your job back in spring training. I mean, in spring training, whatever it is. Don't be that guy. Be like, if I'm not starting, I'm taking my ball and going home. That proves to me he's not the team guy, and Philly's not going to go for that. They're going to trade him. To J-Mac, with this DeAndre Hopkins reference, unlike the Texans, they're not going to trade away a franchise guy. They're going to trade away a good guy, a playmaker. He didn't have a bad year. Bill O'Brien is just a moron who, for God knows what and why, sabotage probably. Who knows? So, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he's got a good future. I mean, he's shown it a lot in the past couple of games.
With no tape.
With no tape, yeah. So I mean, yeah, Philly's gonna fold and pass and kick him out on his little booty for. I mean, it's just poor sportsmanship. Be like, if I'm not starting, trade me. I'm not gonna try and earn my job back. Just give it to me. He's entitled, and then it's not right. He hasn't shown that why he should be entitled. I mean, you get hurt 2 seasons. You know, you have good years, but then you get hurt. You're not reliable. So I don't think Philly's going to put up with that. I think he's probably going somewhere like New England, where Bill Belichick can maybe get him back into shape. I think he'd be a good fit there. But yeah, Philly's going to say, "See you later."
I almost said hold, just based upon the fact that I thought they might give him a chance to come back and earn his spot and have an open competition with Jalen Hurts. But with the way he's playing now, I'm going to have to say fold with the way that Jalen Hurts is playing. Jalen Hurts is going out there. He's balling. He's looking too good. So I'm definitely going to say fold. So,
one of two people is leaving that Eagles team, and it's Wentz or it's Peterson. It's one or the other.
I think it's going to be Wentz. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say fold, just based upon how things are looking right now. All right, so instead of going to a player-wise, I'm going to actually go to a coach. Yes, very interesting here. And I'm going to actually go somebody that we haven't heard much about yet on whether he's on the hot seat or not. And we're going to go to the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to go with Zach Taylor. So Zach Taylor, Will Polston, you start. Hold, fold, or just say pass if you're not sure.
You might as well. There ain't no reason to look at the cards, man. You just got to fold that right. That guy is abysmal. I mean, yeah, sure. The only argument you have, and the only argument you have to keep Zach Taylor, is the fact that Joe Burrow is just now starting his career, and you want to keep those two together, have him build up through the same. No, okay, stop it. All right, that's not good. Okay, Joe Burrow's been doing amazing whenever he was on the field, and it was off to an amazing start, off to a phenomenal start, up there with Herbert competing for the Rookie of the Year. Absolutely amazing quarterback, but that's the thing, is that you have an amazing quarterback with a garbage coach. You need to get something up there to go along with Joe Burrow. There's no reason to have Zach Taylor there, who I want to say in his time in Cincinnati is like they won a game 5, 24-1 or something similar. It's not good. Okay. It's just not good. He's a bum. He's bad. He smells funny. Get him out of there. Get Joe Burrow somebody who's actually going to coach him, and not somebody that Joe Burrow is going to actually coach himself. Get somebody else out there for Joe Burrow, please, dear God. Fold, by the way.
Fold, okay?
Was it fold?
It was fold.
The Vic, what are you saying?
Uh,
And don't forget, you can pass if you're not sure. You know, you can just say pass.
Hit me. I'll go for you. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's a fold. I was just trying to think of how to word my disdain for him. In my mind, he's right up there on the same level as Anthony Lynn. Just a horrible coach. Doesn't know how to play call, time manage. I mean, you got the number 1 draft pick, and you got nothing else. I mean, I don't know. Just fold. He's done.
Well,
just
don't look at the cards. Just
don't look at the cards. Just be like, I'm out. No blind, just out.
There's a time to step away from the table. Right now, they are down millions of dollars.
No one to hold them, no one to fold them.
Just
no one to walk away. No one to run.
And when to run.
Yeah, run away. Run away as fast as you can.
Kenny Rogers, new coach of the Cincinnati.
He can't be a coach. He's dead.
Oh. Well.
J-Mac.
He's coaching from the beyond.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. Yeah, they need to fold it for all the reasons you guys said, but more. Because this guy has held on to Joe Mixon on this team for some idiotic, stupid reason, because Joe Mixon is a joke of a man, and he's a joke of a player. So, by the way, I dislike Joe Mixon so much.
How much?
That
I picked up dislike it.
I picked up Giovanni Bernard last week in fantasy, and man, do I look like a genius for doing that, because it was 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Joe Mixon hasn't done that, all year? So, and then the second place where Zach Taylor messed up is when he took Joe Burrow first overall. Now, I know that's going to get a lot of looks, but let me explain. You do not have an offensive line to protect a number 1 quarterback. That is proven because, he blew his knee out because you couldn't protect him. What I said they should have done is taken Chase Young first overall on the defensive side, knowing that you're going to have a top 5 pick this year, and then you can get a quarterback this year in the draft. Now you're going to have a top 5 pick, and who you're going to take?
Penny.
Mac Jones.
Penny Sewell.
Still won't be.
But all I'm saying is you could have had Chase Young to anchor your defense.
He's a beast.
Tell me he hasn't done anything in Washington this year. Yeah, so you could have had that. You still could have had a very, very solid generational quarterback this year in the draft. So I think you needed to build your line first before you took a guy like Joe Burrow. And now you could have ruined the kid's career by having blow his knee out because you didn't have an offensive line. So Zach Taylor needs to go. He should have been fired right after the first game. And the first game when he started Joe Mixon, I'd have had him gone.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to agree with you guys on that. I'm going to say that they're going to go ahead and fold on Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's going to be gone after this year. And we're going to hit on just one more just briefly because we're going to actually go to a whole team on this aspect. And here's what I'm going to say.
The whole chicken.
It's going to be hold, fold, or pass. The Buffalo Bills will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Hold, fold, or pass. J-Mac, I'm going to go ahead.
I knew you were going to start with me. Oh. I'm going to pass because I could see it, but I don't know that I have enough conviction to see them getting past the Chiefs right now. But I'm telling you, it's going to be the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC Championship, and I don't know that I can pick a winner without flipping a coin. Because that game is going to be unreal. It's going to be an unreal game. So I'll pass because I can't say, so I pass.
All right, Will Polston, hold, fold, or pass.
I'm holding Buffalo Bills as the AFC representative in the Super Bowl. Let's do it. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Let's just get that out of the way right now. When I'm looking at the AFC, in my opinion, and I've said this before, there's no team more complete. Now, whenever I say that, there is no team that is successful as it is on the offensive side of the ball, as well as the defensive side of the ball, in the AFC than the Buffalo Bills. Now, that's a hot take, but I think their offense is right up there, arguably top 3 in the AFC. You could argue, obviously, you got to have the Kansas City Chiefs up there. You could argue the Tennessee Titans. They have an amazing running game, and because of that running game, they can spread the ball from the passing standpoint. You can't argue the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're bad right now, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The Ravens have had inconsistencies because they decided to shove Mark Ingram down everybody's throats for 15 weeks. Everybody knows you're going to run the ball. And whenever you're looking at everything else, I don't know really who else can keep up in the AFC when it comes to an offensive standpoint. If they could just have if the Bills had a moderate, and I mean moderate, if they had a middle of the road running game, I'd say they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I think their defense is phenomenal. Their defense has been amazing. Their secondary is very underrated. Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, phenomenal names on the defense. Their defense has stuck around for forever. I mean, there's pieces on that defense who have been around for forever, basically since Sean McDermott joined, and he's just built a culture. He's built a culture of winning. Finally, some positive stuff in Buffalo. I am so unbelievably high on the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to say yes. Buffalo Bills, I'm holding on to that in the Super Bowl AFC representative.
All right, the Vic.
Oh, I'm gonna fold. I think Kansas City is just too much of an offensive juggernaut. It almost seems that at some point Kansas City can just score at will. Like they're like, oh, we need a touchdown. All right, let's get a touchdown. But I also see, and this may not be the popular opinion, but just based on the past couple weeks or so, I think Cleveland's going to give everybody a run for their money. I think Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb and we got Landry and Higgins. I think they're gonna put up a fight. I think it's gonna be Cleveland and Kansas City for the championship if that option happens. But I think Kansas City's just too much at times for people. They're too fast. Mahomes is just a wizard out there. I mean, yeah,
you're a wizard, Patty.
Buffalo's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm finally a believer in Josh Allen and Buffalo, but I just think that Kansas City is too seasoned and too much for them. They gotta work out. They gotta it's not gonna happen.
So I don't know. This to me, I really had to think about. Like, this is one that I truly had to think about. And so at this one, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna actually say hold. I truly believe that they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe that the AFC Championship game is going to be Kansas City versus the Buffalo Bills. I think that that's going to be the AFC Championship game, and I believe that Buffalo this time is they're going to actually get over the schneid. They're going to beat the Chiefs, and they're going to go on to the Super Bowl. So at this point, I'm going to have to say hold. They're good on both sides of the ball. And Stephon Diggs is playing out of his mind right now.
I'm holding it.
Yes, you're going to hold it. Stephon Diggs is playing out of his mind. Josh Allen's playing at an MVP level. I don't know how you cannot say hold. You have to say hold. All right. So that's all we have for tonight. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed our little mini game that I threw in there at the end, because I know you guys love the games that we play. So that was our pass, hold, or fold.
Games are fun.
Games are fun.
I like game.
Me catch ball. Okay.
Me catch Bills in postseason. Me catch
all right,
Bills in Super Bowl.
Okay.
J-Mac passed.
Yeah, he passed. He said pass.
Oh, he just gets to pass?
Yeah, he passed. Okay.
This game.
So, our last thing that we're going to do of the night, just really
I took
quick,
it, Freddie.
Just touch on the T-shirt quick. So, J-Mac, how can you win one of those T-shirts?
Well, you can do what, let's see, we got some people. You can do what Madison did. You can do what Grant did. You can do what Nathaniel did. You can do, the list goes on and on and on. Suzanne, I think, was in there. A couple other people. Just comment. That's all. That's all you got to do. That's it.
That's it. Okay. Now, what if you can't comment?
Well, if you can't comment.
What if you're driving?
You're driving? Well, that's a fair question, Vic. Well, if you don't have any fingers, well, then I'm not sure how you do the next part, but you'll figure it out. So you can get a hold of one of us here at the ASAP Network, and we will get you a shirt, and not for $25 plus shipping and handling, for $14.99 plus shipping and handling. You can get a shirt.
All right. So thank you very much for that. And then obviously, last but not least, our last thing that we're going to hit on is Anchor. So Anchor. So what is so good about Anchor? Well, let me tell you, the one thing about Anchor is, if you really think about it, so if you missed tonight's show and you're like, man, I really want to know what Sportsminute said, because that is my favorite show on the network. Well, guess what? All you have to do is download Anchor, go to Anchor, and then you can listen to the audio version of Sportsminute. Or
while you're driving.
Or exactly. Or even think about this. Or if you're like looking at the screen, you're like, you know what? I want to do what those guys are doing. How do I do that? Well, Anchor is another one of those great ways to get you started. You can start your own podcast on Anchor. It's really easy to do. It'll walk you through. It'll tell you everything. All right. So that's Anchor. And I am Ace. That is none other than the beard known as J-Mac. That's, oh, look at that. Look at Will Polston. It's Will, I hate Jared Goff Polston.
Will the Thrill.
Yeah, I do. Hey!
And then the Vic, my
Welcome to the Gun Show.
My dream became a reality with Mariota and Herbert in the same game, the Vic.
And they both played good. And they both played well.
So I'll go ahead and start with J-Mac really, really quick. Is there anything else you have to say? Just really quick.
Talk about delusional takes when Vic is sitting down there saying the Cleveland Browns are going to be the AFC Championship. I'm sitting here like, what just happened? You're telling me you trust Baker Mayfield over Josh Allen?
I do.
I think oh, man, I don't even know. You've been drinking tonight? I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Have alcohol, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, crazy. Yep, that's not going to happen.
I like to mess with you.
I know. You get me going.
Get you riled up.
All right, Will, do you have anything left to say?
For everybody watching at home, for everybody that's been a part of the ASAP Network, for everybody at Sport, everybody else, I just want to say a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, anybody, whatever you celebrate, whatever you're out there, we all have our own thing. If you're out there celebrating, just make sure it's safe. Make sure it's fun. 2020 has been absolutely nuts. Make sure you hunker down with your family, enjoy some time. This is a good time for everybody. Just actually get a little bit of normalcy in 2020. Let's end it off okay, because the rest of it's been very shaky at best. So let's at least end it off good. Glad we got a Sports Minute in there, and hopefully everybody enjoys their holiday.
Yeah,
8 days to go.
We are in the last round of Jumanji. Okay, the Vic.
All right. Shockingly, I have something to say that is not duck related.
Woo!
Quack.
I just want to finally thank Major League Baseball for saying that Negro League stats are legit. They go in the record books where they should be 100 years ago or whenever it happened. It took you long enough. Merry Christmas.
All right.
Go Ducks.
Satchel Paige.
All right. So before we call it a night, I'm just going to let everybody know that from ASAP wants to let you know that we do not have a show tomorrow and we do not have a show Friday. We are officially taking Christmas Eve off and Christmas Day off. So I want everybody to enjoy their holidays. But guess what? Sportsminute will be back with you again on Saturday. So you can catch Sportsminute again on Saturday. So I want everybody to have a fantastic holiday. We will see you on Saturday for Sportsminute. Stay safe out there.
Stay safe.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.